Welcome to our new series about the human design gates. And today you're going to get to learn about the gate 17. The gate 17 is known as opinions in traditional human design or anticipation in quantum human design. And you're going to get to learn more in depth about these gates, for example, than you would in any book, because I'm drawing from my human design transit reports over the last few years that go in depth about the different gates that I'm talking about. And if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notifications so you capture every single one of these as they come out, because they're going to be released over the course of the next year. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. The gate 17 is on the ajna. It's over here on the right-hand side of the body. And so it has a kind of extra boost because it's in the ajna, which is like the analytical thinking center. So not only is it logic, but it's also in the thinking center. And in traditional human design, it's known as the gate of opinions. Would you like to hear my opinion? And in quantum human design, it's been renamed anticipation. So let's unpack that a little bit. So opinions, right? Like if you're receiving from that logic circuit and you're, kind of not sure what's coming in and you're demanding answers, then you might have an opinion about it, right? That's kind of how the energy moves. But if instead you are curious and you're looking for possibilities, then you might have positive anticipation that's coming through that 17, because it's like, what's coming in, right? What's coming in? So it's important for us to have more flexibility and openness and receptivity in the logic circuit or the pattern circuit than we often experience. And that it is not about how the energy is in the chart per se or necessarily in your field. It's about how we're conditioned to experience it and express it. Because unfortunately, the kind of open curiosity and delight in studying the living world, which is what started a lot of scientific study, it become much more kind of focused in, much more judgmental, much more dry and didactic. It's not really infused with that mystery of the great unknown that the living world is. Right? It doesn't have that kind of devotional quality that it could have. And so we see that. And what we want to do is we want to be able to kind of release our left brain from that kind of cultural conditioning, because of course we need our left brain, right? We need the parts of us that can focus in that way and can really study something, analyze something and be strategic about it. Like we need that part of us, but we want it to be open and receptive and flexible and not to get really closed in, right? We don't want the focus to get like this, right? We want the focus to be more like this, and that it's somewhat open. So we all have opinions, right? We all have opinions. The question is how attached are we to them? How much do we try to assert them over other people? How much do we let our opinions cloud our judgment or shut down our receptivity to other points of view? Because unfortunately, with anything in the ajna center, the ajna it desires certainty, and it believes that it knows. It believes that it has certainty. And so we want to watch out for that. Because when you have an opinion and you have a certainty that your opinion is correct, you can be a hard person to be around. I know, because I've been that person, because I have the 17 defined in my chart. So one of the things I've done to try to soften that energy is I try to preface things by saying, would you like to hear my BFO? That's my acronym for it. My BFO is like my big fat opinion, especially when I'm aware that what I have is very much an opinion, right? I'm not asserting it as truth. I'm not saying this is what everyone needs to believe. This is ultimately, with a capital T truth. Like, no, it's like, this is my opinion. This is my perspective at this time. And it may be informed, and it may be intelligent, and it may be compassionate. It may be all kinds of other things, but it's still my opinion. Right. So that's one way during this time when the earth is in the 17 is for you and for you to be noticing the people around you is to be like, okay, that's an opinion. That's something that somebody is putting out there. And then I get to see what I think about it. And I do that with my own opinion. Sometimes I'll say something. I'll be like, do I really believe that? Or do I believe all of it? Do I believe part of it, but not all of it? So you get to play around with that a little bit. But then if we can ground ourselves, okay, in meaningful opinions, not just ones we inherited or ones that we just throw out of our mouths because, something passes through our minds, right? But a really well thought out opinion, something that's valuable, right? So we want to be able to share those, but we want to do it in a way that other people can hear them and they don't feel like we're trying to coerce them or control them by sharing our opinions with them. So in the quantum human design name of anticipation, right, we can be a little bit more of like, oh, I'm curious, right, which is the beginning of the logic circuit in quantum human design is curiosity. I'm curious. I'm wondering. I'm in a state of anticipation about what the understanding is that's going to come through. Ideally, my recommendation to you is for you to be cultivating a sense of positive anticipation. Now, in the kind of world of manifesting, right, positive anticipation is a huge benefit because when we have positive anticipation, we're creating an energetic blueprint for that which we desire. We're creating that with our intention, with the excitement that comes with this positive anticipation, right? And we're kind of pulling things towards us as we do that. So positive anticipation is much more empowering actually than opinions. Opinions, particularly when they are used in a way to try to dominate or control a conversation, a person, a situation, it's not particularly helpful in terms of manifesting because it's really like kind of locked in. You've decided you're in charge. You want to be in control, right? That's kind of tightening things in. Whereas if you can be in positive anticipation, you're stretching out into the unified field and placing into that unified field your desired outcome. And when you add positive anticipation and you build up your emotional energy so that anticipation is like enthusiastic, then you're much more likely to call things to you, which as a generator or manifesting generator, you then get to respond to. Or if you're a projector, you get to call in invitations. Or if you're as a reflector, you get to kind of feel into, what is that for me? And how can it come in? And, our manifestors are good at manifesting anyway. So, but positive anticipation is good for no matter what your type is, right? Because it's basically letting the universe know that which you're focusing on and what you're delighted to imagine coming into your world. It's like, how can we focus on things that we haven't focused on before? How can we break out of our conditioned ways of thinking about things? How can we, unravel the programming that we've had so that the power of our thinking mind. I mean, it's pretty amazing, the kind of, beyond a supercomputer that we have here. How can we utilize that to really help us move into this new world that we are wanting and desiring and we so desperately need? And in order for that to happen, we have to think different. Right? We can't go on doing things the way that we've been doing them. We can't just dig in our heels with our opinions about how things are. We have to be a little more open and to be willing to be receiving guidance from non-physical about how things could be different. And so we want to use the energy of that 17. We want to anticipate, if you will, what could come to us and what we could express. We want to anticipate having opinions that are really at another level. We want them to be for the highest good of all of humanity. We want them to be opening up horizons of possibility for a more equitable, a more regenerative, a more just, a more kind, and a more compassionate world, right? Those are the things that we want.